guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He is sharing his story about an experience he had when he was 24 years old, about how he met this woman when he was at a point in his life when he was starting to think about, finding the right girl to settle down with. And he met this woman who he truly thought was just an absolute 10 in all areas. Looks, body type, personality. She would want to hook up many times a day, do whatever he wanted in that department, cook, clean his apartment. I mean, he was on cloud nine. Unfortunately, after a while, when the honeymoon period started to, get old, he started to notice, wait for it, some red flags. And his gut was telling him something was up. And so fortunately, my man here has a brain, and he listened to his gut, and he found out something was definitely wrong and going on. And you're going to see here, guys, and I don't want to reveal too much here, that it turns out that this guy here was the other man. That she not just had a boyfriend, but a full serious relationship with some other dude for 3 years. And this guy, it's not like he was just someone she'd hook up with. She was very serious relationship-wise with him. So she had a serious relationship with the dude that was away, and a serious relationship with this guy. Completely using him. And this guy obviously really hurt, but instead of just freaking out or kicking her to the curb, he forms a plan, so to speak, to definitely let her get what's rightfully coming to her. A plan that involves this other guy. And you're going to get a laugh when you see what happens in this whole situation. But the point of this whole story is, guys, no matter how good and amazing it is, you got to pay attention to the red flags. Like even the most amazing ones on so many levels, they can lure you in with their beauty, with the friskiness in the bedroom multiple times a day. And believe me, he mentions like 7 times a day with this girl. I mean, she was definitely a hornball. And cooking and cleaning. But regardless, you still got to pay attention because you just never know. So, I'm going to get into this. He says, Dear SSM, I've been listening to your channel for over a year and has given me so many laughs and has helped me stay RP'd. I have 2 stories I want to share, one for now and the second one when I get more time. So let's start when I was 24 years old. A little bit about me. I was a 24-year-old male, active in my church, he says inactive now in parentheses, and in law enforcement. She was a 23-year-old female. Being in law enforcement, I had no trouble getting the ladies. Me and my buddies would go to the bar and would have no problem getting action. It was so easy to have a new girl every time, being the only sober one. I don't drink alcohol, not because of my religion, but because my family has struggled with it. My father was the drunk driver. Bro, I totally get you. I rarely drink. And I got kind of a similar reason behind it, kind of like what you have there. I'm not going to get into details here. That's one element. It's only special occasions I might have a beer. But that's a long story. He says, I was at church one day and my pastor talked to me about settling down and starting a family. I, being blue-pilled, thought he was right and would work on it. I am very traditional and was interested in a more traditional wife, and I always had a thing for Asian girls. At this time, I stereotyped that they would make a great wife/girlfriend. Girlfriend/wife material. I thought I would join a Christian dating website. He says this is before Tinder. This is how I would meet Moon. Not her real name, but if she reads this, she will know it is her. I think the odds of Moon finding this are pretty slim, but you never know. Shit. A few months ago, I get a text out of the blue from one of my cousins, a woman I might add, talking about my channel. My family found me months ago. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how the hell did you find me? So it goes to show you just never know in life. And by the way, they get a big kick out of what I'm doing. Moon is from Thailand and is in a program to provide babysitting services to rich families. Oh my God, talk about a stereotype. I'm not even going to touch that one with the jokes I can make with the pretty Asian girl, babysitter with the rich families. We hit things off too well. She was the girlfriend I could only dream of. Good looking, amazing in bed, and wanted to have you-know-what all the time. He put all in giant letters. She'd wake me up every morning and in the middle of the night to get it on. Every time we were together, it was 3 times a day at least. It was so much, she is the only woman I ever had to turn down because I was tapped out. 7 times for the day was enough for me. Things were going too good. I was actually getting worried. I had lots of relationships and never had anything go this smooth. Well, you're going to find out she's a pro at this. I gave her the key to my apartment. Smack. Never do that. Where she would actually get there before me. She would clean my house and had dinner ready. Well, that's nice and all, but I still want to give the key. I was in heaven. We talked about marriage. Smack. And had dinner, talk about marriage and the future together. For the next 3 months, she was the perfect girlfriend. Full stomach, empty balls every time. Things are so perfect, I started to get a gut feeling that maybe this was a little too good because she wanted me for that citizenship or something else. Trust your gut, bro. I know that's the last thing you want to think of when you're with a girl that makes you feel that amazing and has all these great qualities. Last thing you want to think is, no, nothing wrong with her. She would never do that. She would never use me, or she'd never lie to me, or whatever. You do enough. After doing all these stories for almost 2 years, guys, because this February will mark 2 years being on YouTube. Nothing shocks me. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to your gut. Listen to your gut. Watch for red flags. You just never know. He says, I had no proof and did not look into it. It was just kind of a minor gut feeling. However, I had no proof and she never hit her phone and was very open with it. So I ignored it. 3 months later, she said she needed help fixing her computer. I've always been a PC nerd, so I accepted. I cleaned up a few viruses and cleaned up her laptop. It was here I saw something very interesting. A letter on her PC labeled, I love you. I read a sappy love poem I timestamped it, and it was created about 2 weeks into our relationship. Aha. I confronted her about it, and she said that they broke up before us and he was trying to get her back. She promised that nothing is going on and they are no longer speaking. And as you can probably imagine, guys, this guy really wanted to believe that. But there was a part of him didn't quite forget that. The next day, she went so far as to give me all her social media info and all her email accounts and passwords. All her email accounts? How many emails does this girl need? There was nothing. I was a little suspicious that she deleted some stuff, but I had no proof. I chose to believe her, and things moved on. A week later, she asked me a question that set off some more red flags. She asked, if I have an email account hidden from you, would you break up with me? Translation, if you found out that I was lying to you and hiding stuff from you, would you break up with me? His answer should have been, yes. I knew in my mind she was still in contact with that guy, but I was thinking, why doesn't she call or text him? And he says, I will find out later. She promised she was just asking questions and would never hide anything from me. Like a B-pill sucker, I believed her and moved on. You were young, you were inexperienced, you didn't know, and you were in love. She was the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to relationships and girlfriends, the best thing you ever had, so you really wanted to believe that. Like many guys before you, and bro, like many guys after you. We all got to be burned that one time to really learn. It's unfortunate. I do this channel to help guys that they hear these stories that maybe they want to go being burned bad like us old school guys that didn't have YouTube back in the day to guide us and help us out. But a lot of people, until they have to learn the hard way. As time went on, she was slowly leaving more and more stuff at my apartment. I started to notice she was becoming very territorial of my apartment. She didn't come over every night because sometimes the rich family would be gone for a weekend and she would babysit the kids overnight. I would notice when she made my bed, she would leave the thongs in my bed. I thought this was cute. Looking back, I could tell she was trying to mark her spot. Oh yeah, definitely. And also by her leaving a lot of crap in your apartment, that way then, if things ever went south, she has an excuse to keep coming back to get her stuff. Or by her stuff being there, you're looking at it, like for instance, her leaving her thongs in your bed, which is kind of hot. She has a hot body. That way you're thinking about her. You're on her. She's on your mind. It's like she's cast a spell on her thongs, and you look at it and you can't get her out of your head. She also started becoming hostile and started asking me if I was cheating. Wait a second here. This was the cool girlfriend that could do no wrong, and now all of a sudden she's becoming hostile and accusing you / asking you of cheating. Bye-bye honeymoon period. Hello, true colors. I was not. I was head over heels devoted to this woman and wanted a family with her in the church. Over time, she became more distant and was leaving more clues for me. So let's see. You said here you became head over heels. And even if you didn't communicate that with your words, you obviously communicated that with your actions. And she obviously saw that. So now, as you said, she's becoming more distant. She doesn't have to work as hard to get you. In the beginning, it was all hooking up 3 to 7 times a day and coming to your apartment and cleaning and cooking. But now she got you. Now she's becoming hostile, like you said, becoming more distant. She got you. This is why it's always best when the gal is more into the guy, because she's going to work hard to get you, like in the beginning. Now, there's varying degrees of this, but this is why you always have to get her to dig to find out how you really feel about her. This is why you don't put her on a pedestal. This is why you don't kiss her butt. If she's good to you, you can treat her well, don't get me wrong, but you're not showing up every day with flowers or gifts and telling her how she's the most amazing thing ever and planning your future together and all that. If she brings it up, that's different, but you don't bring it up. It sounds awful. It's unfortunate it has to be this way, but it is what it is, guys. You want them working to get you. You want them chasing after your validation, if you will. That puts you in the driver's seat. But the roles are reversed, where this guy now, she knows. She's got this guy. So she doesn't have to try as hard. She left her laptop a few times, so I installed some spy software. Dude, if it's at the point where you have to install spy software on her laptop, it's certainly over. Don't waste your time, because you know something's up. And I know you wanted to know, and we're going to see where this goes, but still, amongst her being distant and accusing you of shit, time to go. He says, guess what I saw? She had a boyfriend of 3 years and was in contact with him the entire time. 3 years she's with this dude. She obviously was lying. Not just some other dude she was hooking up with. A serious boyfriend. What does this say about her character? Because you, in your eyes, you are her serious boyfriend. Talking about marriage and all that stuff like that. Meanwhile, serious boyfriend. Now wait till you see what he does for a living. I thought about how it is she is with me most of the time and most nights. At this time, I was so broken. I really thought she was the one, and I had a few good cries. But I knew she was a fake. I sucked it up and kept my best poker face. I told her nothing and allowed her PC to keep getting more information. Well, dude, at this point, I mean, yeah, you want to get more information, but between her being hostile and all these other things and accusing you of this and that, now that you know, you have concrete proof that she's cheating on you. I mean, just get the hell out of it. Don't waste your time. But he continues on, and it gets much more interesting. This is what I found out. Her boyfriend was a Marine serving in Iraq. Ugh. You know those videos I do, guys, about those guys that tell you the story about how they married their girl before they were deployed or something along those lines? And the second they ship out, she's like, bye. And she's off at the freaking bar meeting dudes. How many stories have I done there? How many guys, thousands of guys have commented all over the freaking world about either it happened to them or some buddy of theirs, how the gal was cheating. The stereotype about the servicemen. This guy's in Iraq who could literally, at any time, something could happen to him. And I will bet you some of his money's going back to her. And she's doing this to him. She's evil. But that's it. But you'll see what happens. Apparently she met him in Thailand a few years ago and came to America on some type of working permit. I found out his name, address, phone number, and deployment dates, etc. I felt like a complete jackass. I've been tearing it up with a service member's gal. Not married, but I still felt bad about it. My self-loathing stopped, and evil revenge started to take shape in my mind. He was planning to come home in about 2 months, so I had to wait a little longer to hatch my plan. Dude, you stayed with her for 2 months after finding all this information? You could have broken up with her, had proof, and then did what you're going to do instead of 2 months. But you were young. I waited until he got back. When he got back to America, I called him and told him everything about what was going on. Yeah, I'm sure that was an awkward conversation. I told him to meet me at a local restaurant. I took Moon out to lunch, and I made sure her back was to the door. The guy came in and walked our way. When he arrived, I gave him a bro hug, and we talked to each other like we know each other our whole lives since childhood. Can you imagine the look on her face? I still want to know a little more about that conversation with him on the phone, revealing what's been happening with his girl for 3 years, but okay. He sat next to Moon in the booth to box her in. We ordered and made her sit there. Can you imagine the look on her face? It was so satisfying to see her face knowing she's caught and toast. She cried, panicked, shaking, not knowing what to do. We left her there footing the bill and no ride back home. She called me begging to take her back and I refused. She also called the other dude and he also said no. Oh my God. Who'd she call first? Did she call you first or the Marine? I packed up all her stuff and took it to her place. Well, I hope you got her thongs out of your bed. She tried calling me a few times and I ignored her. I'm not going to lie, I was tempted to take her back, but I could not accept that I was the backup. She lost us both. Yeah, you know what? And it was her loss because you're a good guy. She has a thing, obviously, for she's with the Marine in Iraq and she was with you, the police officer. That sucks, bro. But you learned a hell of a lot and you got a good story out of it. He says, post story. Me and the Marine hung out a few times, but we have lost contact. Awesome guy. I hope he's doing well. Moon for the next year would email or call me, and I never replied to her. I found out that 6 months after she got caught, she married a third guy and has a child with him. I don't know if he was dating her during our time or if they had to rush it before her work permit expired. It could go either way. She obviously likes sausage. If she was juggling 3 dudes, oh my God. And yeah, I was about to say that child, he said she got pregnant, was obviously her insurance policy to stay here. If she was beautiful and was as freaky as she was and would cook and clean and all that, obviously, and she's in her 20s, early 20s, she had no problem getting dudes, so she could find some poor sucker. Too bad you couldn't have gotten to that guy before she married him. He says, 3, I have left law enforcement and religion and have a second story that will come in the next couple weeks, not related to Moon. Thanks, SSM. Well, man, that was a good story. I'm sorry you went through it, but it sounds like obviously this is obviously a while ago, and you got a sense of humor about it. But there you go, guys. He thought he was on cloud 9. You could see as I read the story, and everything was just fantastic. I mean, that all guys deserve that, to be with a gal that is that amazing. The problem is that she was this giant liar, a total fraud the whole time. And not just to this guy, but to her main guy for 3 years. And Lord knows there could have been other dudes there. But there are people in this world that just have no conscience, no soul, and they'll use people. So you got to be careful, guys. And like I said, I mean, it was all amazing in the beginning, remember, but then eventually when he started really getting attached, you saw what happened. So a little lesson about that as well is getting too attached. You always wanted that she is more into the relationship than you. I've covered this a lot of times in other stories and videos. Just a little refresher there is good to go over. And of course, paying attention to the red flags, because you never know. What if this guy married her? So, but I'm glad he's doing well, learned a hell of a lot, and through what he went through, some of you guys can learn. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Have you guys ever been through something like this where you had a girlfriend, you thought she was the one, thought she was amazing, and found out she had a whole other relationship, not just hooking up with another dude, but an actual relationship? Let's hear about it in the comment section. It'll definitely help some guys out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.